would you like to take this opportunity to say sorry to the pensioners who feel hurt and less well off, certainly not better off, because you've taken away their winter fuel allowance? Would you like to say sorry?
The people who should be saying sorry are the last government.
While pensioners are making ends meet, Keir Starmer is taking a bath with money and enjoying life. The truth has finally come out and he is really going to resign in disgrace. This is very good news. Let's figure out what happened together.
Keir Starmer was forced into a humiliating U-turn over freebies last night. I mean, he's also, I know that he's something of a socialist. I think he's also a sociopath, because when you see him being interviewed, there's no charisma, no humour. It's just like a robot. I think most people watching this will think that there is nothing wrong with me taking clothes. He's just...
Usually people speak without emotion when they lie. Maybe he's hiding his emotions and talking like a robot just because he doesn't want his body language to be read. Nevertheless, no matter how hard he tries, he absolutely fails to lie, although I think he has a lot of experience in this. Keir Starmer promised to return some of the money for the gifts that he and his wife received from businessman Wade Ali. The politician actually turned out to be a big fan of living in a grand style at someone else's expense. Starmer was attacked by a barrage of criticism. Under the threat of an investigation, he promised to reconsider the approach to the presents that British politicians receive regularly and openly. Now, he voluntarily decided to pay £6,000 for the gifts he received, that is, to buy off the hype, and quite cheaply. This amount will cover only 5% of the total value of the gifts to Starmer from 2019. As it turned out, in between attempts to convince NATO partners to allow Kiev to strike deep into Russia with Western missiles, Starmer twice took his wife to concerts of Taylor Swift for free, and he regularly attended free football matches and horse races. The scandal broke out when it became known that the Prime Minister had not declared the designer clothes that Ali regularly gave to his wife. He also covered Victoria Starmer's expenses for a personal stylist. In total, since 2019, he has received various gifts of at least £107,000, twice as much as any British politician. Wahid Ali paid the Starmer for branded clothes and accessories, flights, trips to events, and even let them live in an elite penthouse in London. Starmer himself does not repent for his craving for gifts. As he explained, he accepted football tickets from sponsors out of concern for taxpayers. As for the penthouse provided, the politician had noble motives here too. It was done so that his son could study for exams in peace, while the Starmer house was surrounded by journalists. However, the hype around expensive gifts was a blow to the reputation of the Prime Minister, because he promised to bring order to politics when he came to power. He was pressed against the wall. It seems that he does not know how to apologize at all and does not understand everything that he has done.
Just because I've asked you a couple of times and you have just skirted around it, I did ask, would you like to take this opportunity to say sorry to the pensioners who feel hurt and less well off, certainly not better off, because you've taken away their winter fuel allowance? Would you like to say sorry?
The people who should be saying sorry are the last government who left a hole of £22 billion. And they should be sorry for that. They should apologise for that.
As a result of the freezing of the so-called tax thresholds, an increasing number of pensioners will have to pay taxes after the increase in the state pension. In order to qualify for retirement benefits and thus still be able to receive heating benefits in winter, a single person must have an annual income below £11,343. And those whose state pension and other incomes slightly exceed this level face a double blow. They pay tax and lose their heating allowance since they are no longer eligible for retirement benefits. This means that retirees with small savings or income are more likely to cross this threshold. An increase in the state pension in the future may also cause the lowest threshold for income tax to be exceeded. These numbers are high, and I'm concerned about how many older people will be affected. Freezing tax thresholds at a time when inflation is rising means that more and more older people will have to start paying income tax, while others will face higher tax bills.
And obviously you are now agreeing, because he was being forced into this U-turn after, throughout the whole couple of weeks, continually saying that most people don't mind that he was bought £20,000 worth of clothes, 20 grams worth of clothes, saying that he doesn't think people would mind, and now he's U-turned about this because apparently his popularity is in free.
All these expensive gifts were received both before and after the Prime Minister took office. At the same time, the Labour Party helped with the delivery of things. Ali has donated more than £500,000 to the Labour Party and is a major sponsor of Starmer himself. This year alone, the businessman gave him clothes and several pairs of glasses worth £18,000 and also spent £20,000 on his accommodation during the parliamentary elections. Starmer, along with other members of parliament, is personally responsible for the disclosure of such information. The Manual on the Code of Conduct of Deputies says that parliamentarians are obliged to register any benefit provided to a third party, regardless of whether it was accompanied by a benefit for the deputies themselves.
It's my view that our new Prime Minister is a narcissistic, greedy, thin-skinned, dishonest man posing as somebody honourable. A man who said that he was going to clean up politics, but wound up cleaning up on freebies instead.
He was absolutely furious with me. It was really...
Such is the selection system that prime ministers turn out to be people who talk outright nonsense. Such a political system. Politics has turned into pop politics. The more stupid a person is, the more likely they are to become prime minister, and the party will be able to win the elections. So I think this politician is the dumbest in the history of mankind.
I asked him about claiming all of the freebies in opposition and the tickets and the clothing, etc., and how that looked, and did he think it had undermined his reputation or messaging, and was he sorry about that? He brought up his son. I did not bring it up.
That's exactly right. He brought his own son into this. No one else did, using a 16-year-old boy as a human shield over the donations.
He kept saying, you know, there are human reasons behind that. And I wasn't trying to argue that with him. What I wanted to talk to him was about the bigger point. I didn't want to get into a row about tickets for football or whether he should claim this flat and go and live there with his family. What I was trying to say is, do you understand how it looks when you present yourself as one thing and then you allow a perception to build that you're just like the other?
Did he really think he could change the subject after such shocking news? He has absolutely no conscience, and such behavior will not go unnoticed. He does not know how to evade the answer. Even in this, he is very bad. Not to mention the fact that he is the Prime Minister and he is definitely not up to the job.
We set out our promises in our manifesto. We returned with a huge majority to change the country for the better, and I stick to my promises in the manifesto. But I notice it's question 3, and it hasn't yet welcomed the investment into this country. We've had in recent months £8 billion from Amazon for jobs across the country, £10 billion from Blackstone's jobs across the North East, £22 billion on carbon capture jobs in the North East and the North West, 500 million, Mr. Speaker, for UK buses in Northern Ireland. While we're investing in our economy, what are they doing? They're arguing about whether to scrap maternity pay.
During his few months in power, Keir Starmer managed to become one of the most hated politicians by the population. The current indicator of the hatred that the people feel towards him is only slightly inferior to the values that Rishi Sunak had at the time of his resignation. But at least he managed to work as Prime Minister for almost 2 years, and Starmer can only dream of such a term. This man should urgently be sent to prison for a very long time, because what he did is inexcusable. We saw scenes where a woman asked about pensioners. In the full version of the video, she constantly asked him to apologize, but he never decided to apologize. In the same scandal, he also did not apologize because he is not sorry at all. The only thing he feels sorry for is that the truth has come out. What do you think about this video? Write your opinion in the comments. See you.